Hello and welcome to this training video brought to you by the Vacation Rental Formula, where we're going to be talking about the administration portfolio, because regardless of whether you do all your rentals through one online travel agency such as Airbnb, you still need to have your paperwork in order. This video is kindly supported by Avalara MyLodgeTax. Avalara helps you by remitting your lodging and hospitality taxes to the appropriate local HOA state authorities, and sometimes you may have 2 or 3 of those to pay each quarter. So it's definitely worthwhile talking to Avalara about how they can help with that fairly arduous administration task that you're going to be taking care of every 3 months. My name is Heather Bayer. I'm the CEO of Cottage Link Rental Management, an Ontario-based property management company. We manage around 180 properties. I'm also the co-founder of the Vacation Rental Formula, which is the ultimate education resource for property managers and property owners, bringing you training videos, weekly Q&A sessions, checklists, downloads, all sorts of materials that you need to help you manage every aspect of your business. So let's talk about vacation rental business administration. Now, as I said, regardless of whether you're just marketing your property on one platform, you still need to have some documents and some contractual material in place to help manage your business successfully, because it is a business. The moment you start taking money from a third party, your guest, then you are in business, regardless of whether you rent out a weekend every so often or whether you're renting out the whole year. So you need to consider things like rental agreements and the meat of those rental agreements, which are the terms and conditions of rental, which we're going to be talking about. Financial management, how you're going to manage the money that's coming in and the money that goes out, because there's income and there's also outgoings in every vacation rental management business. And when we can talk about house rules, because basically that's the house rules are what you put on a listing, and it's important that you get those right. So let's kick off with rental agreements. I mean, they can be called a number of different things. I use rental agreement because it's something that I've been very used to. It's what we use in our company to make the contract between our property owners and their guests. So it is contractual. It's binding. It's legally binding. So it's very important that the rental agreement has the names of the parties involved. That's the name of the owner and the name of the guests, the lead guest. You want to have contact information in there as well, or whether it be an email, phone number, address, but certainly addresses of each party. The contract period, the check-in date, the check-out date. Very, very important, particularly in areas where there is legislation governing landlord-tenant acts, and you want to make that differentiation between the short-term rental that you are offering and the long-term rental that may be governed in different ways in your state or province or wherever you are. And of course, a rental agreement requires signatures. Now, you can do this on platforms like DocuSign and create a very nice rental agreement that can be just done through DocuSign. And other similar signing platforms online, and they are just as legally acceptable as a paper document. So if you're trying to get away from paper documents and having people fax things to you or scan and send them to you, then that's something to consider. So the most important, as I said, the meat of your rental agreement are the terms and conditions of rental, and you really want to lay out absolutely everything that is your responsibility, and that is the responsibility of the guest. So, for example, your check-in and out times, You want that very, very clearly stated. How many members of the group there are. In our terms and conditions of rental, we say that the contract covers all the people that we have been told are coming. So even if a property sleeps 10 and there's only 4 in the original booking application, then our terms and conditions of rental only cover those 4. So this is important because it means that your guests are more likely to tell you if they're going to be bringing more people or not. The terms and conditions cover payment and the method of payment, whether you allow a deposit so many days before the rental commences and then the final balance, or whether you want payment on arrival, which I certainly don't recommend. But you want those payment terms laid out in your terms and conditions. And certainly cover cancellation and what happens if somebody wants to cancel or if they want to change a booking. Now, on many platforms, for Airbnb, for example, HomeAway, for example, you will have the cancellation policies laid out there. You will have maybe a strict policy or a super strict. So you'd use exactly the same terms as you're showing on those platforms on your own terms and conditions of rental, so they do match up and nobody's confused as to what those terms are. So the occupancy of the property, you want to make it very clear what the maximum occupancy of the property is and whether you accept day guests over and above that maximum occupancy. That's important. For example, somebody comes to your property, you accommodate 6 people, but they're intending having a wedding and they want to bring 50 or so attendees. If you don't make it clear in your terms and conditions that your occupancy is limited to that number for both day and overnight guests, there's no reason for them not to bring as many people as they want just on a day visit. So make sure you cover that. The condition of the property. So you want to make it very clear how you expect the property to be left on their departure. Whether you want furniture to be returned to the original condition, to the original location, things like that. How you want it, how you want your caretaker or property manager to see it when they come in. Use of telephone and internet services. This is more so in areas where there are limits on the internet. So you want to make very, very sure you get across what those limits are. For many properties, this is not relevant because you have completely unlimited internet, but it's always worthwhile mentioning. You want to mention what your policy on pets is. If it's 1 pet, 2 pet, no pets. If you are only accepting hypoallergenic and non-shedding dogs, whatever your terms are in terms of accepting pets, and whether you have a charge for them, you make sure you put those in the T&C as well. You'll also talk about the equipment and facilities provided and what might happen in the event of something breaking down. That's really important. Let's say a fridge breaks down, but it's fixed within 2 hours. You don't want to be dealing with a refund claims from a guest because they were without a fridge for an hour or 2. So you make it very clear in your terms and conditions what would happen in the event of something breaking down. So moving on to refunds, you want to be very clear about when you will give a refund or a rebate. And I would make it very clear that you don't give refunds or rebates for weather-related issues in terms of, it rained and therefore somebody didn't have a great vacation, so they want their money back. And we've been hearing more and more of this recently. There's other conditions of booking, and if you go to the bottom here, you'll see there is a link to a download that I've created, and that covers all these items that you'd put in terms and conditions of rental, and adds a few more. You'll also want limitations of liability and hold harmless clause, and I'm not going to detail that one. This is something that you really need to talk with a lawyer or a paralegal about, and because I'm not going to offer legal advice. but you need to be considering what you want to say in very legal terms as regards to the limitations of your liability on that guest vacation. So, financial management, really important that you consider this when you start your business. Think about your cash flow. With cash flow forecasting plans, so think about what your income is going to be over the course of different periods, different seasons, and then you record all your expenses and outgoings, recording all your income. All these things will help you plan and will help you out when you get into the low season or a quiet period. If you've got this all forecasted out well, it's going to come as no surprise to you when perhaps the income drops off, but you still have certain expenses, the fixed expenses that go out every month. You don't want to be having that income, going out and spending it, and then realizing that you don't have anything left over to pay for some of the expenses and outgoings that are going to be coming up. And of course, the remittance of your lodging taxes is really important. You might have to be paying taxes to the state, to your HOA, to a municipality. In some cases, there's 2 or 3 different taxes you have to pay every quarter. And this is the reason that we recommend Avalara MyLodgeTax, because they take care of all those lodging tax remittances. You collect them in your income, and they take care of paying them to the right authorities at the right time. That takes a lot of the load off you. I hope you enjoyed that video training, and if you've got any comments or questions, please leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So if you did enjoy that training and you'd like to see more, consider joining the Formula Club of the Vacation Rental Formula. It's an exceptional training platform for vacation rental owners and property managers to help with every aspect of your business. Whenever you get stuck or need a question answered, the Formula Club is your ultimate resource, bringing you more training just like this, question and answer sessions each week, connections with other owners and property managers who may be in exactly the same stage as you are, and you can network with them and they'll help you out. And then there's checklists and guidebooks and plenty of other resources to help you with anything you might get stuck on in your business. And we'd love to have you join us. So head over to vacationrentalformula.com and get on the waiting list for the next time we open up for new members.